So, bonjour, Meriem. I hope you're doing good.
Bonjour.
Thank you very much for sending over your film. It's a beautiful film. As a filmmaker that's also outside of his country, it resonated with me. And I wanted to kick off. Well, first, if you see me like looking here, it's just I have the questions in another monitor. But I wanted
No worries at
to
all.
start it off by asking, after reading the press kit, I saw that you were an architect before, and you still are. But what made you decide to take that jump from architecture to filmmaking, which for me are like two different ways of art, and to tell stories in different ways?
Thank you for that question. Also, thank you for this interview. And I don't think I decided to jump. I think I was doing them both at the same
Hmm.
time since I started. I always wanted to, or like in the time when it came time to decide what career to pursue, I already knew I wanted to be a filmmaker. And so when I went but I was in Morocco and like
Hmm.
I didn't have funds to come to the US and just decided with my family that I was going to pursue architecture first. Eventually, will turn into a full-time filmmaker. The whole time, I was actually making videos and films and such on the side. In fact, when I announced on my Instagram that Mon Taxi got selected to premiere at Tribeca, one of my really dearest friends that I had met in first year of architecture school in Spain, her
Hmm.
name is Doris. She texted me on Instagram saying, "Oh my God, I told you it was gonna happen. I remember when we were in first year of architecture, we would do all the projects, and architecture is tough. It's like a lot of work. So we would like be
Hmm.
working very like late, and then Miriam, like you would stay a bit later working on videos and then or little films, and you would invite us on the weekend, and like we will have little projections." So I feel like I've always done it kind of parallelly, and I actually thought that in a way becoming an architect has helped me, I think, see things differently because architecture is all about training your eye to see critically, and I think that can translate into film.
Thank you very much. And also, again, congratulations for the screening on Tribeca.
Thank you.
Um, Talking about like how architecture helps you shape your mind, it reminds me of my friends back in Spain. They studied physics, and they're all like studying like a career different like in the arts that shapes your way of thinking can also help in film. So, but going back to Mon Taxi, I wanted to ask about the title of the film because it does state it in the press release, but in the actual film we don't see a taxi. So tell me more about it and how did you land on that title?
Yeah, Mon Taxi actually came eventually to me because I remember that's how my dad used to, like, he nicknamed himself my taxi. My
Hmm.
working title for my film was just Salut Papa, which is one of the greetings I do whenever I call my dad. I mix languages a lot since in Morocco we mix languages, and one of the ways I called him was Salut Papa, but it felt like it was missing something because it only captures one language and it only captures one way of calling him. And I wasn't convinced. So I was like thinking about options. And then I just remembered my dad would always joke and say at the end of my calls with him that he's kind of like my free taxi because whenever I called him, it was when I would leave my home and like go walk. Since New York is so walkable, I would
Hmm.
leave my home and start walking, to meet a friend for a coffee or to go to my day job. And at the moment I arrive, I would be like, "Okay, Dad, I'm here. I'm gonna go now." And he would laugh and be like, "Oh my God, you're welcome for the free ride. I'm your free taxi." So it just stuck, and like he would just tell all his friends that he's my taxi, and then he made a lot of sense. He was like, "Actually, he is my taxi," and that's how, hence the title, Mon Taxi.
Hmm.
And it's like it kind of like did a full circle with this film opening the biggest doors into the film industry for me, because in a way that means he's still taking me places. So in a way, that taxi metaphor still works
Hmm.
beyond what I thought or expected it to work.
That's so beautiful.
Thank
Um,
you.
Talking about the voiceover notes and the Salud Papa that you make in almost all of them, I wanted to ask, do you still do this tradition of getting the voice notes over?
Yes, I do. I actually just did one 2 days ago. Um, yeah, I got the selection to another festival that I'm not allowed yet to share.
Mhm, mhm.
And like I got really
Congratulations.
emotional. Thank you. I got really emotional and like really, really wanted to share it with him first. Yeah, I think that it's become like a therapy for me and a way of continuing my relationship with my dad, by allowing myself to, pick up the phone and talk to him when I feel like I need to talk to him.
Mhm. And considering since all the film is in voiceover, is there a reason why you decided not to appear on the screen and let it be all images of your travels in New York and images of your father and those repertory images that you put in the beginning of the film?
That's actually okay. That's a great point. That's how it used to be. So maybe you didn't recognize me because you didn't know me before. I am on screen at the end, and it was a
Hmm.
decision after I had finished the film. I was not on screen at all, and I test screened it. And one of my really great friends and advisors, Andy Hines, gave me a note which was, Meriem, like, I loved your film. My only note, I would love to see you. So I
Hmm.
went, thought about it, and I was like, you know what? Okay. So I ended up, my brother, who's also a cinematographer on the film, is the one that filmed that part. But I was at the end of the film, you would see me, go through places and eventually get to the train where eventually,
Hmm.
the call would cut eventually. But yeah, at the beginning, it was just. It was not really about me. It was more about my conversation and continuing that relationship with my dad.
Hmm.
But then it made sense for the viewer to also see me and what that commute is like.
Perfect. Now, this might be a bit of a weird question, but it's something that interests me personally,
Bring it
that
on.
both in the press kit and in the film, there's an emphasis on fig trees. And I wanted to ask if there's any significance to it, how it resonates with you. Maybe it has to do with some Moroccan culture, something that your dad used to do.
Yeah, thank you for asking me. I'm glad you noticed. Uh, Fig trees are very important in the history of my family. My grandfather had a fig tree in his house. My dad has a fig tree. My sister now has a fig tree, which appears in the film. I will eventually get a fig tree. My apartment in New York is way too small for that. But but it comes from the fact that my dad is from the Rif, which is an indigenous area in North Africa, and one of the trees that are famous from that region are the figs and the fig trees, and they're honestly like the best figs I've had. Whenever I
Hmm.
would go while I was living away, I left home when I was 17. I left Morocco when I was 17, but I would visit very often. Whenever I visited, my dad would wake up very early, go to the market, get very fresh figs, hand pick them. Like it was kind of a love language for him to feed us
Hmm.
figs. So it was really important for me to include that. Also, the fig tree is one of the ways that clicked this idea of making a short film with my voice notes because I was, it started with me wanting to talk to my dad and recording all these voice notes. And then 6 months after I had started this ritual, I was traveling somewhere and I saw a fig tree that looked very different from the ones that, I'm used to seeing. And I took a photo or a video and I had the same like impulse of wanting to share that with dad because I wanted to show him how it looks like. And I think that made it click and be like, oh, I want to share videos. I want to share these, calls. Maybe I should connect them and make a short film. So it was the element that connected it.
That's so interesting and so nice. I would die to try one of those figs. I bet they're delicious.
They're really good,
Um,
yeah.
This next question is a bit personal, so feel free to skip over it. But this being a short film about your dad and the love you had for each other, I wanted to ask how did he inspire you and how does he still inspire you to this day? And how was he as a person?
I yeah, I he inspired me. I kind of like I was his fan, and he was also my fan, which was really nice because I think we eventually were inspiring each other. The way I was inspired as a kid is from all the stories he was telling me, just the fact that he came from such a poor upbringing where he like I recently actually wrote a little children's book to my niece who just turned one.
Hmm.
She's in the film. And the children book I made her is one of my dad's stories. And it's that the first time he's ever had new shoes, he was like first-hand shoes, he was 13 years old. Before that, he either didn't have shoes or had like, he said third or fourth hand shoes that had holes in
Hmm.
them. Like he came from a very poor upbringing, and it's kind of a miracle and a lot of hard work. And through his hard work and education and just being lucky to meet the right people at the right time, he was able to not only make it in a way, but also help back his family. Like he has a very big family. He has 11 siblings. Help his family, but also help the communities of the reef and like create some nonprofits and all of that. Seeing all of that was just really inspiring to me, and him giving us the opportunity to even study and live in a big city and all of that. So I always told him like that put a lot of pressure because I feel like the bar was so high. But at the same time, I was just like very inspired by that story. Yeah.
And one of the last phrases in the film is to love that extends beyond space and time, which I found beautiful. And this film certainly achieves on doing this with the voice notes. And the love for your dad certainly resonates a lot in the film. I wanted to ask again, what little things did your dad do, or you still do, like day to day in your filmmaking career, in the scripts you write, to achieve this phrase of extending love beyond space and time?
I think a lot of people, when my dad just passed, I was like reading a lot of things, listening to podcasts, and there's this theme of, oh, you can continue a relationship beyond death. That it's really hard to actually believe until you feel it. I think I felt it with this film and this ritual of the voice notes that love can extend beyond space and time. And a lot of people do it in other ways. I've heard stories where people like start learning a new language to connect with their parents'
Hmm.
tongue, or like learning a new skill because it reminded them of something that their parents do. And I think that that's something that, you know, really proves that that can be true. And then some other things that I picked up to answer the later part of your question, there's things that my dad used to do that I would actually almost point out as making fun of him in a loving way. Like he used to drink coffee only from
Hmm.
transparent glasses, and when we go to coffee shops, he would ask them. He would be like, "Can you bring me a transparent glass?" And I was like, "Dad, why? Why? What about mugs?" And now I find myself using transparent glasses and like Googling, "Can I use this transparent glass with hot coffee without it breaking?" Um, just because it makes me feel more connected to him, I guess. So that's like one little example of that happening.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So, just as a last question, is just asking, what can we expect from you, from Meriem in the future? Any other ideas you have? Are you planning on extending this maybe to a feature? Um, what can we expect from Meriem as a filmmaker and as an artist?
Yeah, thank you for asking me. I'm currently working on my first feature. It's going to be a feature documentary. I think all my work, whether I want it or not, is very personal and comes from a very personal place. I think I'm just a very emotional person, and I like showing it. So yeah, I'm working on a feature documentary about. All I can say is like it's about sports, and it does come from a place where it's rituals that Moroccan families have between each other, when watching sports and what happens kind of like out of the fields. Yeah, and it's been really exciting, and I'm looking forward to doing. It's going to be between Morocco and US, and yeah, I'm excited to work back
Hmm.
with my home country.
Perfect. Well, I hope it goes very well in
Thank you so
the
much, and thank
recording.
you for
Thank you
this
very much,
invitation.
Meriem, for your time, and I
Thank you
hope it
so
goes
much,
very
Javier.
well in the festivals.
Thank you. Take great care.
Thank you. You too. Bye bye.